I'm Graham Taylor. I run an operation called Pottery, and basically I make replicas of ancient pots. I research and demonstrate ancient pottery making techniques. I build ancient kilns. If it's old and made from mud, I'd do it.
We're in Tang Community Centre. We've got some pottery in front of us. It's part of a larger project. What are we doing here today?
Well, today we're working with Graham, who's come to see us, and he's helping us make some Roman pots. We're using some of the techniques that the Romans would have used 2,000 years ago here in Tang. We're also hoping that people will think about how people are using plates and bowls and jugs 2,000 years ago in Tang, and the fact that these pieces of pottery are still here and still in their gardens and still under their feet, and that archaeology, the remains of the past, is around us every day today.
These are pots where Romans have decorated them with deities. So we've got gods and goddesses, and these two are both replicas of ones from York. This one here is decorated with a much simpler face. Yeah. And the reason I'm showing you these is because this is what you're going to do today. You're going to create your own head pot.
What are you making?
Well, I'm modelling a head, and I suspect it might look a little like me, but I put the beard on it. But it's kind of traditional that people who sculpt things always sculpt themselves in a mirror, you know. I mean,
So a Roman pottery form of yourself?
A Roman pottery form of myself, yes. I mean, I'll be immortalised, you know what I mean.
So what's the experience been like making the pot?
Well, given that I'm very nearly blind, it's quite satisfying to do, and I'm to see it with my fingers.
It makes me think about the process that they'll have gone through to make those pots, and it actually puts more of a human dimension onto the pot itself. So you look at the pots that were over on the table that were demonstrated earlier on, and you see those and you think, how were they made? How were they produced? And so when you go into a museum now and look at pots, you don't just think, oh, it's a pot. You think, oh, somebody made that pot. So some physical hands went into using clay and producing something at the end of the day, it brings it more to life. So having done it myself, you know, you've got that context, which is nice.
But the pots you're going to work on were made on a potter's wheel. And the potter's wheel that I use is this one. If you go to India or Pakistan or places like that, you'll still find potters using stick wheels, and that's what this is. It is a momentum wheel. You spin it with a stick, you get it going nice and fast. You take some water, you wet the clay, and as it spins round, you centre it and start to open it out. And very, very quickly, you can get yourself a very basic pot shape. Spin it up to speed again. While it's spinning, because it spins fast, you can do quite a lot of work. What I'm going to do now is to shape that. So now it's reasonably thin. I have to be a little bit careful not to tear the clay. But as you see, you can make a pot quite quickly. But once you've made your pot, what you can do is you can model it a little bit. So you can start to do a little bit of work on it straight away. So we'll have a quick look around. This is the easiest part of the process, is making the pot. But there you go. So I'll just gently put that over there, shall I?
So Aidan, can you tell me about your pot?
Well, I've looked over there and I've seen all of these pictures of like horns and using the stance and all different kind of techniques, and I've thought of the horns and I like that, so I thought I could put some of those into mine.
Okay, so Roman head pots, which is what you're going to make. What I'm going to get you to do is I'm going to get you to use a wet brush and just wet the pot where you're going to stick the new piece on, work it up, scratch a little bit. It's what we call scratch and attach, because clay will join together if you push it together, but it will join together permanently if you allow it to mesh into itself, as it were. There's various tools on the table. You can draw into the pot. You know, you can just actually draw details in there. And on the tables, you'll see some little short, stubby red things there. They are stamps. They allow you to stamp decoration into the pot as well. And I'll show you how to do that as we go along.
How I found out about today, I volunteered about 18 months ago to work as a volunteer at YAT, which is York Archaeological Trust, and in the ceramics department. And it's lovely to see how these things evolve, because we're seeing all, like at the moment we've got a load of Roman stuff in artwork, and same in ware and grey ware and what have you, and it's just wonderful to see how the Romans would have actually made it.
It feels interesting to try and understand the mechanism, and when we see finger marks, on the pots, and we try and engage with the pots in the pottery department, you've got a much better idea if you've tried to do it yourself.
Have you gone for a particular deity here?
Yes, it's Fortuna, the goddess of right and wrong.
My joke started as a single-faced pot. And I had a go and I thought, I can't do much more to that, so I'll turn it over and have a go on the other side. I thought, well, I've seen some large noses, I'll have a go myself. And then I thought, well, since I've got a nose, I can use it as a handle, so I turned it into a jug instead. So now we have a jug with a nose handle.
Very exciting.
I put water on it, which made it all sticky, and then I used other clay to shape it, and then it was hard to make them all like the same size, and then I scratched it so it stuck on, and then I held it for a bit and smoothed it down.
See.
It's not really based on anything as such, but I'm just sort of shaping it and seeing how it turns out.
So how's the clay feeling? What does it feel like?
It's really nice to work with, actually. It's quite forgiving. You can bend and mould it, so it's a really nice medium to work with, actually.
It changes as you use it. It starts off, when you get it wet, it's really slippy and moves really quickly. But as you start to work it and it starts to dry, it starts to become a bit more resistant.
Some points it's hard and some points it's so slippy because of the water, sticky and...
Clay is a great medium to use, when making almost anything, really.
Yes.
I mean, it's very satisfying stuff. Has that lovely quality of if it's wrong, start again. Or,
Yes.
you can slowly build things up very carefully, and you can do some amazingly subtle work.
I suppose that's the art of the pottery, is working with materials at the right level of consistency and always keeping an eye on it, knowing your materials. It's really fascinating.
And how important are these hands-on activities for people, especially local communities, when trying to engage with their heritage?
I think it's really important. It means that we can get our hands dirty, as you'll see, and and have a go. And it gives a sense of the people from the past as being real people, and that they would have had senses and feelings like us. They would have got their hands grubby.
How's yours coming?
It's coming along. It's got eyes. It's a little bit alien-like mine. I like the horns on your one.